Hey guys, it's Super Noob Trooper, and I'm going to show you guys a similar Nerf Longstrike tip when you're putting this thing back together. I did this for my long shot too, worked perfectly, and I have some slight modifications for you too. All you need right now is a hot glue gun warming up. Put that to the side. Now, the problem with this gun when you take it apart is that there are two major pieces that tend to fall apart. I guess the springs fall out when you're doing this. Number one, the trigger is probably pretty annoying, and the second worst thing about this is the cocking mechanism spring, which tends to fall out every second because it shares the it shares like a little place up here with the other side of this gun. So I have something that's going to help you get rid of that annoyingness, so that when you work with this thing, you don't have to worry about the spring falling out every second. So, you guys can do this with the stock spring, which, if you don't know what a stock spring is, it's the spring that came here. But I'm going to be using a spring off my Nerf Recon that's shorter, has more coils, but not shorter, it's longer and has more coils, so that it's making up for being not as strong as the last one. If you want to use a spring of your own, all you got to do is make sure that it hits up against the piece up here, and that when you pull the trigger, it moves this cocking mechanism up. So, all you need... Okay, never mind that. What you're going to do first is take the spring you want to use, make sure it fits on the end of your cocking mechanism. If it doesn't fit there really nice and tight there, what you want to do is get a bit of hot glue, really lightly make one dab on the end of the cocking mechanism, glue it down. For most people, and for the stock spring, the back part's going to be fine. It's only the top you have to worry about. So what you want to do is take the spring and load it back to where you want it to go. Mine's really effing finicky. Alright. Get a bit of hot glue. Make sure this end on the cocking mechanism is all good and everything. Take a bit of hot glue. Let's do this at a, I guess, in a crappy angle. So you put a dab of hot glue on the top where you want it to go. And as that glue is setting right there, you can push it down with a screwdriver, or I don't really want to get burnt right now, do I? You can push it down with anything you want so that it stays in place. Now, the only thing that's relatively you gotta worry about in here is that you don't want to cover the whole spring in hot glue. Only the very tip of the spring should be covered up in hot glue right now. If you have more than the tip of it and you see that the spring is like struggling, or it's covering up most of the spring, you want to remove some of that hot glue so that it'll stay better. Now I'm using a screwdriver, wiping off some of the excess glue as it's trying to move it back and forth so it's getting on the back of the spring. And I don't think you guys could see that at all, but that's basically all I did, was put hot glue at the top, removed some of the excess glue, and now my spring stays in place in the cocking mechanism. So when I pull the trigger, the cocking mechanism still moves up and down nicely, but the spring's not falling out at all because there is hot glue holding this mechanism in place. I did the same thing for the spring. As long as these two parts are able to move with ease, like this, then you're perfectly fine, and congratulations.